So
All
yeah.
right, sounds good. So I am here with Lisa Olsson of Lisa Olsson Fitness and or Olsson Fitness System. So I'm here to talk with her a bit about her process and how she continues to move forward. So Lisa, tell us a little bit about you and your business first, and then we'll get started with how you bring fun into your fitness and all of the good things.
Fun into fitness. I love all the F's that you always talk about. It's super fun. Yes, so it's like on Instagram, I'm Lisa Olsson Fitness. So many people are like, okay, Lisa Olsson Fitness business. So it is Olsson Fitness, and I'm the creator and owner of the Olsson Fitness System. So I've had this business since 2014. I think I started my personal training career back in 2007.
Wow.
And then
Okay.
did a little bit of training then, and then kind of got out of it, and then started my own business in 2014. So I'm super excited because we offer now personal training, health coaching, nutrition, supplements, accountability coaching, group coaching, and it's really just expanded more than just personal training, which is how it started. So I guess there's some creativity or some fun with that, and bringing
Yeah.
things that people ask for, or what they need and want, and what I enjoy.
Oh, that's so awesome. 2014 seemed to be a good year. That's when I started my business as well. So
Oh, hello. Nice.
yeah, so what led you from to start your own business in the first place? You know, I know you have a history of your college athlete and all of that. So what led you to your business?
Sure. Like how can I condense that? Yeah, I am a former 3-sport Division I athlete. So I've grown up really with a lot of background in athletics and fitness and health, and making that a priority. And I got into collegiate coaching at the college level at Division I and Division III levels for softball. And then in 2006, some changes were made, and I had to figure out, okay, what should I do next? And I thought about teaching, but wasn't really excited about that at the time. And I found personal training and getting into that. And so I really enjoyed it. And I thought, oh, someday I'll train athletes, or I'll get into that space. But there's not a whole lot of money, if I can be honest. There's not a whole lot of money to be made, like working in the corporate world as a personal trainer, right? You're charging a lot for sessions, but you as the trainer are not seeing a whole lot.
Oh,
And when you're trying to survive and make things work in life, like money is kind of necessary. So I
of
had to
course.
make some changes. And I got into more of the corporate world, and that's a whole other story. But I found myself at one spot, like working as a small business banker. And I was talking to all these
Wow.
business owners. Yeah, I know, weird. But
Yeah.
like I said, there's a whole lot of backstory in there. But I found myself working as a small business banker, and I was talking to all these business owners, and I was like, why do you get to do what you want to do? Like, they were so passionate about life and everything. And I'm like, why do you get to do what you want to do? Like, why don't I get to do what I want to do? I don't know what I want to do. And,
Oh,
freaking out a little bit about that. Because over time, right, sometimes our dreams get pushed down, and we forget what our passions are and what we love.
yes.
And so that kind of sparked it to say, what am I
Awesome.
passionate about? What do I like? And I was talking to a neighbor, and she had a young kid just like me, toddlers, 1 or 2 years old. And she's like, I need to get back into shape and work out. And I'm like, oh, I can help you with that. Like, I did, personal training back in the day and being an athlete, right? Like we talked about. So we just started working out in my garage and pushing the kids around in strollers and around the neighborhood, and started getting some phone calls and messages like, Lisa, what are you and Laura doing out there? Like, what are you doing? Can I join you? And I'm like, yeah, join us. Like, we're just working out, shedding the
Awesome.
baby weight and moving and all that. So that's kind of how it started. And my neighbors and friends were like, you're really good at this. Like, you should do this for a business, like for real. And I'm like, well, I used to do
Wow.
it for real. And they're like, yeah, we should be paying you to do this. So I was like, okay, maybe let's get into look into this a little bit more. So I got all my certifications back up to date and
Yeah.
everything. And that's when I started Olsson Fitness, working full time as a banker and having a toddler and eventually, getting pregnant with our second kiddo. And that's where it really started turning to be like, okay, let's add in nutrition. And I partner with the company Arbonne International. And
Yeah.
so I'm an independent consultant and regional vice president with Arbonne. And I was
Yay.
really like, yeah, I know, like I love it. Like at the time I was like, oh my God, I am not putting my name behind some like MLM or network marketing type thing. I was really against it. I have 2 master's degrees and bachelor's degrees. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like I was worried about ruining my credibility. I didn't want to be like, here, drink this and you're going to lose this amount of weight or this will happen. Like it was really about let's get people healthy and understand how to move well and how to incorporate like whole foods into their diet and have a lifestyle, not just like a fad. So
Correct.
once I found out that Arbonne like products are absolutely amazing.
Very awesome.
And
Yes.
yes, you use them too. And the program, this 30 Days to Healthy Living program that I got into that I absolutely love is such a great jumpstart. And just there's so much education given. I was like, okay, I love this. So long story short, I added that into my business. And then after our second kiddo was born, I was like, I'm out of the bank. Like, let me just on my own. So
Good for you. Well, I heard a couple of things out of there too that, first of all, direct marketing has a really great purpose for so many people, right? It can be a great supplement income. It can be a great tool. There's all sorts of opportunities there. It's just a matter of how you use it and things like that. People, they're going to buy from you because of you, not because of anything else, but because of you. So Arbonne is great. I do love their products. They're super clean. I love that they use, natural products, things like that. The second thing I heard out of that, Lisa, was you're very family focused, which I love. So how have through the years, so now that your kids have kind of grown up in this business with you, how have you really brought in and incorporated your fitness and your nutrition into your own family lifestyle?
Oh, fun. Yeah. I was talking to a client this morning, like, pardon how I look. You get Lisa Olsson real life.
I love it.
Authentic. We were talking like, this is my 4th appointment of the day and it's 10 a.m., right? But I was talking to a client this morning and she has a 4-year-old and talking about, how he wanted to get on top of like on her back or pushing her head down when she's doing planks. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember back in the day, like when I started, like my babies were there, like after giving birth, I started working, 4 weeks after to be like, can I really make this fitness and nutrition and stuff thing work? And so I had Luke with me all the time as a baby. And so as he grew, like he'd be jumping on my back, I'm holding him with squats, I'm doing all the things, like we're doing mommy and me workouts at the park. Like I incorporated a lot of that. Like, let's go to the park and I'll show you how you can work out while your kids are on the playground, and using your kids as weights, right?
Yeah.
So it's funny, like kind of thinking of those memories because Luke is 7 now. 7.5. And so that was a long time ago. But he grew up, and my older one, Wyatt, like he's 10 now. So for the past like 7-8 years, I was health conscious, but now even more so. Like my kid was asking for a smoothie at 1, right? Like he would seriously scream at me to be able to make smoothies for him, and then finally calm down when he heard the blender like going, and he's making smoothies himself like at 1 or 2. And like that's the cool thing about Arbonne too, being able to have those products that are safe, for kiddos. But like we make healthier foods together and meals together, and muffins and breads and cookies and like all the things. So the family has always been a part of it. They've always been involved in a lot of the workouts that I do. Like people come to my house to do workouts. I don't have a lot of people anymore. My business has kind of transitioned a little bit, but I still have people come over, and sometimes the boys are there and sometimes not. And it's like, this is just how it works. Like you get all of us, and
that's what makes it a lifestyle, choice instead of being a fad. It truly is a lifestyle choice when you have the support of your spouse, your family involved in it. And, I encourage people that way too, even with their fitness goals, their business goals, all of it. It's a matter of when you get support from those that are closest to you, then that's how you can build that full-on lifestyle and ultimately work towards some of those family goals too, and bring in that space of feeling connected to each other that way too. So I think that's really amazing, and good for you for getting the family involved and keeping them health and fitness, nutrition conscious, being aware of it. They're going to be so much further along when they are coming into their adult years, because they know they've grown up with it. They know this
and
lifestyle.
It's not a chore. We're not on a diet.
Yeah.
We're not like, oh, I have to go work out or I have to exercise. Like, it's just part of our lives and their lives. And it's fun. Like when we make sure we're doing fun things, especially with workouts. Yeah.
So I know I've heard you talk about the hockey rink and bringing in some good, good choices at the hockey rink for snacks and things like that. Talk to us about that and how you have brought that in, and then obviously inspiring others and other moms, because moms are busy. We know that. I'm not a mom myself, but moms are busy, and there's a lot of moving parts and moving schedules and things like that. And so talk to us how you build that into being very intentional with your snacks for your kids at the hockey rink and the activities they're doing.
Sure. Yeah, when people go through coaching with me, especially health coaching, we talk a lot about routines and a lot about habits, and we go through the days, right, to say, okay, what kind of things do you have going on these days? And so for us, like Mondays and Friday nights are always like big hockey days. So we're at the rink for 3 hours a night, because the two kids back to back and time in between and all that type of stuff. And so when you're leaving school right at 4:00 and need to be at the hockey rink by 5, you don't get home until 8:30, like that's a long time. You got to have food. And I know it's hard, and I know people don't know what to do, and that's why the fast food comes into play, or there's pizzas at the rink, or there's this or that. So what I've done is, especially at a hockey rink in this time of the year, it's super easy because I'll make like some kind of soup or chili or food that I can put into like the small thermoses.
Nice.
So today, for example, I'll be making a chicken pot pie soup.
Nice.
I kind of say a chicken pot pie type soup, but it's totally gluten-free, dairy-free. Those are kind of most of the time the guidelines that we do for our family. But I'll be making a double batch of that soup this afternoon. And so this is kind of leads into things. So we'll be able to have that soup in thermoses and be able to take that to the rink, right? Like to be able to have for dinner. And then usually I put in there apples, maybe some cheese for them, some protein balls that I make. So like a little bit of a dessert type thing. And that's usually like the norm for hockey rink. Sometimes carrots and hummus too. It's easy just to grab and go. But I'll also use I'll also use that soup. I'm going skiing and snowboarding this week, Sunday to Tuesday, and I'm in charge of bringing soup. So I'll have enough to be able to bring that soup up to the mountains with us, and I'm actually going to bring those thermoses as well so that they can stay hot. We'll heat it up in the morning and then have them stay hot so that we can have it for lunch, like on the mountain. So I do a lot of that at the hockey rink and just kind of prepping and saying, okay, what are my days that are super busy and what are my days that I have time to be able to I don't necessarily meal prep, but I am planning for, hey, this evening is going to be crazy. I don't want to stop at Chick-fil-A every day. Do I sometimes? Of course, right? I'm like,
balance, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's like, hey, let's plan it out. And what are we doing? And then the other one that I do a lot of are the protein balls using the Arbonne protein. And then we'll do smoothies on the go as well. Like I have a cool BlendJet blender. And I've done this before where I just bring frozen strawberries, some almond milk and protein powder. And I bring that to the rink or in the car and the boys can just make a smoothie like it's USB operated. So I'm like, okay, 30 seconds later, we have a smoothie as a snack, or, after hockey, and because you got to fuel before and after.
You
Right.
do. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I think that's so important. And I was recently part of, to our audience here, I was recently part of Lisa's Crack the Code. So we went to 10 weeks from November 8th all the way to January 10th, and really talking about what it looks like to work through the holidays and those big events like that there's a lot of extra eating and things like that. But it was really helpful, Lisa, to really be able to look at the week, knowing that, okay, we have a plan of action to work towards, right? Was it always perfect? No, but not for me anyway, but it was at least always in place. And it was so helpful to be able to look at that and say, okay, now I can be more prepared, even though there's some big events, or there's, sporting events or things like that you're working through with yourself and your family. You can be more in that space of thinking and being intentional of what you're putting into your body. So that was so helpful. I loved that course. And it was, Lisa, you did such a great job of just really walking us through, talking about the routines, talking about habits. So I do want to, I would love for you to share but what you do typically in your morning routine, your evening routine. How can you help others feel motivated around that?
Oh, sure. I think the routines are huge, and that's why we spend so much time and focus.
Yeah.
We called it Crack the Code, especially through the holidays. Now, this program is OFS 1.1, Olsson Fitness System 1.0, that will have 4 times throughout the year for these 10-week programs. And we really focus on like the 5 pillars of fitness, which include nutrition, or 5 pillars of health and wellness, which include nutrition, fitness, habits, fun, and accountability. And the routines are the big one. Like, we went through a lot of, okay, what's your morning routine? What's your fitness routine? What's your nutrition routine? What's your evening routine? Because whether you think you have a routine or not, you have one. You're doing something. Whether it's rolling out of bed, putting on the coffee, and getting ready for work, that's your morning routine, right? And so it's finding a way to make it work in your schedule, which is different for everybody, but finding a way to make it work in your schedule for what you're going to do for all 4 of those routines. So like, we can even take this morning, for example. Last night I got home kind of late, and so my house was not like all picked up and perfect, like it never is, but usually pretty decent in the evenings, especially if I have a 6 a.m. workout coming. So I had somebody come to my house for a 6 a.m. workout. So I was out of bed by 5:15 this morning, and go drink my water, brush my teeth, and then make my tea, do like 10 push-ups while like my Keurig does the tea. So I kind of have
love it.
So it's like 10 push-ups or 10 to 15 push-ups in between my pushing the water button, right? Instead of just standing there, let's push the water button and do some push-ups. And then I came into my office here and I do my morning routine. So this one was kind of short today, but I did a plank first for a minute. And then I follow the Lifesavers by Hal Elrod with Miracle Morning. He talks about the lifesavers. But I do a plank in the morning, sit in silence for a minute, visualize for a minute. That's what I just did this morning. I read for only a few minutes because I knew I had a busy morning. Visualized, and then scribe. Like, I write out like just gratitude or just something for the day, just a little bit of journaling. And then I had to clean my house to get ready for my 6 a.m. vacuum, the gym, like all that kind of thing. And then I had a 6 a.m. workout. And then my workout came from 7:15 to 8 o'clock, right? Is when I did my workout. And I'm doing like rehab type stuff where I have a torn labrum in my hip that I was kind of born with. That's now come about. So I'm fixing that without surgery, which is exciting. And then doing some exercises for snowboarding and golf type stuff. Because those are the things I love to do. And then get the kids ready for school. My husband's a firefighter, so he's not home today. So then get my kids ready for school, out the door by 8:35, and then I had another client at 9 and then you at 10. I said it was my fourth appointment, and I think this is a big deal because I said this was my fourth appointment of the day. However, I just had a 6 a.m. client, a 9, and then you at 10. And so the fourth one is me. Right?
Yes.
That's an appointment
Yes.
with myself. And that's something to make sure when you're doing those habits and those routines to where's the appointment with yourself, right? I call that an actual
Absolutely.
appointment, like that's on the calendar. That's not
Yes.
put like down at the bottom of the to-do list, right? So
Yeah.
that's how
And
my mornings work. My evening, I'm working on it still because I haven't ever had like a really great routine, but I've found now that the trigger, right, to be able to create a new habit, like figuring out what the cue is and the trigger to be able to change or to add. And so I know when I tell my boys, okay, time to go brush your teeth, get your PJs on, go to bed, I can do my evening routine, which really only consists of a few things, but it's once again a little bit of silence and meditation. I do
love
another
it.
plank. I journal like a win for the day.
Mhm.
And some gratitude, and that just kind of like ends my
Boost the
day. If
day.
I
Yeah.
have things, oh, make sure to do this tomorrow, then I put that just in my journaling, so I have it written down. So
Yeah.
it's a little bit about my routines.
That's awesome. I mean, there's so much goodness in that in such a short amount of time. This is why you need to continue to work with Lisa Olsson, because she is amazing, and you have so much knowledge coming through you and so much great energy coming through you, Lisa.
Thank you.
You one of the things that stood out of what you just said too, the routine, being able to know that you have, even if it's 10 minutes, okay, what can you get done in 10 minutes, right? And then what, obviously the appointment with yourself is so important. I tell my clients that too, and making sure that that appointment on your calendar with yourself is in a bright color, whether it's red or hot pink, or I don't care what color it is, but do not overlook that appointment with yourself, because if you're I've heard it from Lisa, I've heard it from multiple people, if you are not serving from from the best opportunity that you have for yourself, you can't serve from an empty cup. So Lisa has said it, I think you've said before, are you giving the best of yourself or the rest of yourself to your friends and
Yeah.
family?
Yeah. At
And
the end of the day, right? At the end of the
yeah,
day, when you come home, when you shut that computer down or you walk in, like,
yeah.
is your family getting the rest of you, or are they getting the best of you?
Yes, and that is so key. You've got to be able to take care of yourself first
Mhm.
and work through those goals. So one last question before we kind of finalize here, and then I want you to share about what you're working on as well. But one question quick first. When people, so it's January 20th, and by this point, oftentimes, I'm not a believer in the word resolution, but I believe in intentions and goals and actions behind those goals. However, some people get to that point of they're saying that resolutions, and by January 20th or 21st, they're like, out the window it goes. And now they're feeling frustrated. Now they're feeling like, okay, I was so motivated by January 1 and now not. I know January is a tough month because it is dark and it's just tough. What do you do to help your clients stay motivated through these tougher times that, if they feel like they got off track, or if they feel like they didn't quite reach what they wanted to by the end of the month or the end of the quarter, how do you keep them motivated through some of these lull times?
Sure. I think it's awareness is the biggest thing. And then bringing awareness to when you're hearing people or my clients say, like, oh, I'm tired. I just showed up today. I haven't gotten anything, all my stuff done that I wanted to. It's bringing awareness to understand like why, and going through routines again to be like, okay, what's going on in your day? Do we need to change some things? I think so many times people come gung-ho at the beginning of the year and they put so
Mhm.
much on their plate because the intentions are good. However, there's such a huge change in routine, and
Right.
without the habits in place and accountability and just more awareness and knowing like how to accomplish those goals, it just gets too overwhelming. And we know like if
Yeah.
there's too much going on and all the things, then so many times, and I'm guilty of it too, just shut down and don't even do anything, right?
Mhm.
So I think accountability is really a big deal,
Yeah.
especially when you're starting new routines or new habits or new
Yeah.
commitments. And then starting small, at talk, okay, like what's one thing that you can do today? Or what's one thing that you can do this week? Let's make that the main focus, whether it's getting enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night in total darkness, or drinking, at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Like, let's start small with some of those things and then say, okay, what's the next thing that we can add on top of this, instead of being in just overwhelm too much type mode. And then, you hear this a lot in your world, but what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Are we only trying to get to a destination and be able to have that swimsuit on for spring break, or is this a journey, and is this a lifestyle, and what do you want to be doing? Like, why are you working out? Why are you eating healthy? For me, it's so that I can run around with my kids that are super active and be able to participate in their lives and play with them all the time, because I'm so athletic myself, right? And so being able to golf with my husband and the kids and go snowboarding and do all this for a long time, not just for a year, for 2 to 3. Like, it's, what are we doing? And so coming back to those whys and taking small steps and celebrating those small steps and acknowledging them, and sharing those wins. For the win for the day or win for the week is, I think, so huge to be able to build upon.
I agree. Oh my gosh. So Lisa, I mean, you have such a well-rounded fitness mindset around that. So I love that your fitness includes some of those mindful moments. The mental health of it too is so important in our overall fitness and health routines. I love that you really encompass all of it. Gratitude's big for me. I feel like we get a lot of really, we can show appreciation for where we've come, what we have, and then also be in that space of feeling creative around that as well. So Lisa, you do such a good job of having such a well-rounded life. So one more question. I know I said one last time, but real quick, how do you incorporate fun into your lifestyle, your routines, your fitness, all of it?
I have to have fun. Like, I am not one that enjoys, like, let's do a workout for like 2 hours a day in a gross gym or something. Like, that is not my idea of fun. And so, but I know that I have to work out and I have to do strength exercises and corrective exercises for me, to be able to do things that I enjoy. Like, I love golfing and I love snowboarding and, just like I said, playing with my boys, paddleboarding, like we go camping, those type of things. So for me, it's like, okay, you get to be better on the slopes this time of year if you are strong, right? And healthy and have that endurance. And so I can go back to the reasons of why am I doing this, type stuff. And then especially if I incorporate certain exercises that I know that are going to help me on the slopes or on the golf course, or I'm starting tennis right now too, so that's kind of fun. I always have to have something active for me.
Sure.
Like, and that's what I tell a lot of my clients, like, what do you enjoy doing, like outside of workouts? Like, what do you enjoy for life? Like, let's train your body and get you healthy to be able to do those things that you love. So for me, I'm all about fun. Some people say too much time on the golf course or slopes or wherever, but I have to. I just have to. Otherwise, I'm not the best me, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. Okay, so what do you have as we round this out? And I'm so glad that you were able to come on this interview with me today. What do you have coming up in your business? Tell our audience of, how to work with you. What do you have coming up? All the things.
Sure. I'm really excited because I'm just starting, and it's like in the next week or so to get my OG group back up and running. It's my OFFFG, Olsson Fit and On Fire Facebook group community.
Love it.
Going, which is fun. Like, you do not have had English major, you do not need to have worked with me in the past to be able to join this group. anybody can get into this Olsson Fit on Fire Facebook group. And so what's going to be happening in there is I'll be doing up to 2 live workouts a week, or stretches, or combination
Nice.
thereof, that people can follow along with or be able to watch later. And then we'll be doing a monthly training on the 5 pillars of the Olsson Fitness System, along with a Q&A session that goes along with that. And then in that Facebook community, we'll have recipes and shopping lists. People will share their commitments
Nice.
for the week and be able to share their wins and those type of things for the accountability. So that's something super fun that is, I'm bringing back. I used to do a lot of the Facebook live workouts, and I got away from it because of an injury. And now, being able to work through that injury, I can bring that back and do more universal workouts for people, and not just stuff that's only towards me. So I have that going on. I have my OFS 1.0. We're in the midst of that, so it's too late to get into that group, but I have another one starting in April. So if that's something people want to do, you can just reach out and we can do that. But I also have, of course, my private health coaching or personal training. And I always like to do, would offer to your network, your community, to anybody that's watching this, is to get in touch with me, and I'll give you my website and we'll put it in the links. But to do just a 30-minute discovery call and see what are your goals, what have you done in the past, what are you looking for now, and see what kind of recommendations I have with that, whether it would be the health coaching, the personal training, or nutrition, or our 30 days to healthy living program is something that is going on continuously. So the next one starts the first Monday of the month. So February 3rd, we always have them the first and third Monday of the month. So those are ways. There's ways to work with me, for a small investment to a larger investment. It can work on any budget and any time. And the cool part is, it's all, for the most part, it's all virtual. So you don't have to live right in my neighborhood to be able to get access to a lot of this stuff. So yeah.
Awesome. And we'll put it in the comments as well, but why don't you go ahead and share your website of where people can get in touch with you?
Sure. And I think the best one, entrepreneur in the making always, right? Even 12 years later or whatever, with website stuff, but Linktree. So I don't know if you use that very much, but so linktr.ee/Olsson Fitness, and we spell Olsson Olsson. So linktr.ee/Olsson Fitness, and there has everything from my OFS 1.1 to getting in touch with me to have a discovery call, to our 30-day healthy living challenge to be able to order products or just learn more about it, and then also the private coaching.
Awesome. So I wrote that down as well. So I will put it into the comments once we get off the call here. But Lisa, this has been amazing. I love your energy. I love your passion. It exudes out of you. So I think that that's so amazing. I really did gain a lot out of Lisa. I'm not done working with Lisa. I will work with her again in the future, very near future. I gained so much from that, from accountability standpoint, to the routines, to really having, that opportunity to say, you know what, my fitness routine and my health routine matters too. So I really appreciate all of that. And so thank you so much for coming on with me today. As we wrap up, everybody, I am always going to be doing Fun Fridays on, coming up Fridays, but I'm interviewing someone once every month to, share a little bit in each of these the fun categories, but each of these categories: fitness, finance, family, field, faith, friends, and fun. And those are part of the ULA principles that I've been working on with them as well. So what I have going on, I'm working on a Women's Day retreat up here in Conifer at our house, Geodesic Dome. So if that is something of interest, go to swirlsllc.com. And we can certainly set up a time to chat as well. So Lisa, thank you so much for your time, your energy, your passion, and for helping our audience today. And I can't wait to see what you have coming up next. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. All right. Okay. I stopped on Facebook.